At the Jokertown clinic, in the room of a recently arrived patient, Mike Fallon scanned over his file. The patient, one Alex Miller, had come from Colorado following the wildcard outbreak at his high school. Mike thought this was going to be difficult given what he had gone through that day. It was as good a time as any to break the ice, he concluded, and started haltingly looking for the right words to begin. A standard default question followed. He needed to get the patient talking to assess the current state of his emotional and mental condition. Mike Fallon was a transition counselor and had been assigned to Alex's case. Alex replied back, telling Mike he was fine. Mike pushed Alex though, recounting the fact his brother was dead, he was now an ace, and in New York, thousands of miles from home. After all of this, he had to be feeling something. Alex knew he was right. All he could see now when he closed his eyes were people dying. The last time he had slept, the nightmare was so vividly bad he woke screaming, having to be sedated by the nurse. Every monitoring device they had tried connecting to him had been shorted out. His mother hadn't stopped crying since. He was able to shoot lightning from his hands now, and this guy just keeps asking me how I feel. Alex was an ace, but he thought all he really wanted was his little brother back, his life, family, and friends. He wanted it put back the way it had been before. He knew this asshole counselor, or whatever he was, couldn't give him back what he wanted, so why did it even matter? Sarcastically, with a satisfied look on his face, he replied back that he felt hungry. Alex swam in his despair, hopelessly lost in the turmoil of his thoughts. Mike said he understood what he was going through and would respect his space, adding if he did decide to talk, but Alex bluntly interjected, "Why do you think God kills babies?" Babies? What babies? Mike responded, unsure where this was heading. Come on, we're in a hospital. Leukemia, car crash, or whatever. Pick one. And you tell me why God would do that? Alex retorted, getting heated. Mike started a response, saying it was a hard question. Many people try to answer, but he was quickly cut off by Alex as he stated, "No, not a lot of people. Can you tell me?" He sat silent for a moment, having no good answer to give Alex. Mike rose, then excused himself and advised Alex he would return tomorrow to check in on him as he left the room. Alex asked aloud to the retreating counselor, "If you can't handle the big questions, Mike, what makes you think you can help with the small ones?" He knew it wasn't Mike's fault, just a state-paid quack doing his job. He saw himself and his behavior. It was all too much though, and his emotions needed some kind of an outlet. Alone again, Alex thought to himself. Mike says he understands, but has never been through something like this. How exactly do you explain to people who think you hit the jackpot that you've in fact lost everything? So what if he was alive and an ace? Alex felt like this was the bottom, and his only comfort was that it couldn't get any worse. Angrily, he grabbed the remote control and turned the TV on. An electric discharge arced out, flowing through him, the remote, and out to the TV, frying it in an instant. Crap, just great. He couldn't even watch TV without his new powers causing a problem. Despondent, he contemplated the future, wondering if this nightmare would ever end. The scene shifts over to the sleeper, inside one of his emergency hideouts across Jokertown. Sitting on the floor, Croyd makes a call to an old friend named Jerry. He quickly gets to the point, telling Jerry his drug source dried up, and he is in need of a quick resupply due to business that needs finished before his next sleep. He tells Jerry he's run through all his bolt holes and ransacked his stashes, finding just enough for a couple of days. After a light admonishment from his friend, Croyd reminds him that he's been a citizen of Speedtown since before Jerry was born. Jerry would provide the needed supply, and Croyd thanked him. Before ending the call, Croyd let him know that the nurse killed at the Jokertown clinic was a friend. He asked if Jerry ever heard of anyone trying to score some Trump virus. He said no. Croyd neither, but it's all that had been taken, and he was clueless as to why. Jerry asked if he was looking to score some Trump himself. Croyd clarified, saying no, he was looking for whoever the seller might be. Just then, he heard noises from outside. Peeking his head out the door, he saw a gaggle of cops moving in on his location. Cutting Jerry off, Croyd let him know he'd have to call him back and ducked quickly back inside. The cops were moving in to block off the alleyway from both sides. The cops with a SWAT unit on site continued converging on the location. One suggested it might be better to wait for the feds, as the sleeper was in a new body and his powers were still unknown. Louis, unable to wait, grabbed a bullhorn, shouting out to Croyd that he was surrounded and to come out. The cops called out a final warning to come out, while inside the Bolt House, Croyd quickly pulled off his Italian loafers. He didn't want to ruin them in his attempt to escape the police encirclement. One cop, hoping they would get lucky, commented that maybe he would just come out, then asked if their sniper was in place. Barking back at the officer, a sergeant told him to shut it, the sleeper was coming out now. Croyd emerged, hands held high, feet bare. The cops took one look and figured they had him. What could he do now? "Dumbass! He's an ace!" one cop yelled. Suddenly, large crab-like claws replaced Croyd's hands and feet. With a great leap, punching holes in the building, he scaled up the side using his giant claws. Croyd headed toward the roof as the call to open fire rang out. Bullets ricocheted. Where is the goddamn sniper? Croyd grabbed the ledge and pulled himself over as shots zipped past him. He saw the sniper. Damn it! The sniper muttered. "I told them, 20 seconds. Croyd moved quickly and closed the distance with the sniper. "Ah!" he yelled. Making a final leap, Croyd was able to grab the sniper's rifle in one of his large claws, snapping it in half. The SWAT sniper gaped in disbelief. "Son, you better not make a move for that pistol. Pretty sure I'm faster than you." Not that Croyd wanted the smoke that would come from killing a cop. "How about you throw that pistol over the side and we call this a draw?" Croyd told the sniper. Stammering, the cop replied, Sure buddy. Yeah, we can do that." Shifting back over to the Jokertown clinic, Mike Fallon enters into the room of his next patient. "Hello?" he calls out. Oddly though, it seems there is nobody in the room. His patient Simon should be in here. "Simon," he called out. Unseen by Mike, Simon's reflection appears in the room's mirror behind him, hands slowly emerging from within it. "Gotcha!" Simon said, smiling as he emerged from within the mirror, grabbing Mike from behind, pranking him with his new ability. After the initial shock, Mike replied, "That was cute, Simon, real cute." Smirking, Simon remarked about how great his new power was, launching into an explanation. The docs call it limited teleportation. He didn't have it figured out fully. They didn't either. There was a missing middle piece, the in-between. "You're the shrink, right?" Simon asked. "Transition counselor," Mike corrected. "Call me Mike," he said, stating he was there to help with his new changes. "Uh-huh. The thing is," Simon said and began rambling on about how weird it was when he is in between. He did some rough calculations determining that there had to be at least 100 million mirrors in America alone big enough to crawl through. The odds he would be able to go into anyone in particular by chance was infinitesimally small. The fact he made it back to this room, it had to mean something. Mike interrupted. "That was all well and good, but how are you doing emotionally, Simon? You went through a traumatic experience, saw many horrible things that day." Mike told him it was not just about the physical changes he was undergoing, but also the mental ones. Simon quipped back. He asked Mike how long it had been since he was in high school. He knew he probably should be messed up, maybe he should pretend to be. Simon told him to look at it from his perspective. A malevolent grin spread across Simon's face as he derisively said in a calm voice to Mike, "All those guys who bullied him, the girls who acted like he was covered in shit, were now all dead." He beamed as he continued, "And to top it all off, I'm an ace." He was troubled by Simon's last words. If he could have picked this outcome, he would have, Simon had said, grinning ear to ear. Troll, the clinic's security guard, seeing Mike, stopped and asked if he was okay. He supposed. Mike replied back. Troll inquires about how the new kids from Colorado are doing. Looking at Simon through his room window, Mike remarks that this one is a sociopathic snot and doing just fine. The other ace, on the other hand, is struggling, but thinks he'll be okay. The two aces were not who Mike was concerned about, though. Over in Alex's room, his parents had arrived. Alex could see it on their faces. His father didn't sit. His mother wouldn't look him in the face. He didn't know what the issue was. Alex's father began by telling him they were making a change of plan, not what they wanted. But he was alive. That was the problem. He was still alive, and Jack wasn't. His mother told him the doctors wanted to keep him longer, just to make sure everything was okay. "But the funeral," he indignantly retorted. "We wanted you to be there for it," his father interjected. Continuing on, he told Alex that his getting better was what was important now, and they would take care of things back at home. All Alex could think was that they were leaving him here with the freaks, the doctors, needles, and dart guns. His parents were going home to be with Jack, and he wanted to be with him too. He wanted to scream, shout, and throw things to get them to stay. As his parents, they were the ones who were there when things got bad, Alex thought, just not this bad. He kept a straight face, feigning that he was okay. It wasn't a big deal. He would see Jack when he got out. Alex knew right now he needed them more than anyone else, now more than ever. Alex needed them, but Jack deserved them. He morosely returned to his room after his parents had left. He sat there dejected, holding his cell phone. Alex flipped it open, looking over the call history. Home, forever changed. Friends forever gone. Bzzz, a spark jumps. Wonderful, Alex thought. Nothing will ever be the same again. The steady patter of rain came down outside the Jokertown clinic as Counselor Mike Fallon walks into his next patient's room and greets Kira Apfelbaum. Kira hesitantly replied back, and Mike introduced himself, apologizing for the late hour. He asks Kira if she has a minute to talk. Okay, she replies. Apologizing once more, Mike states how busy his day has been. Slightly irritated, Kira asks what he wants, and what exactly does counsel my transition even mean? He took a seat on the edge of the bed, saying it depends. Aces don't really talk much, they mostly blow him off. Mike didn't mean to ramble on about aces, but was rattled seeing Kira. He wanted Kira to know that for jokers like them, there ends up being a lot more to talk about. Like us? Kira questioned, intently looking Mike straight in the eye. Yeah, Mike said earnestly. 14 years ago, he was in the same position as Kira. During an outbreak, he had been infected drawing a Joker. His bones had elongated and became very brittle. He had towered at around 9 feet tall, yet could not even stand without breaking his ankles. His skin had become hard, altering his complexion. He had felt like he had done something to deserve it and was being punished. It had been a very dark time for him. Kira knew all about the wild card and asked if he had taken the Trump virus. Surprised Mike confirmed. He stated that it usually took about 20 minutes into a session before getting to a discussion about the treatment with Trump. On the side of Kira's bed, her laptop screen displays a breakdown of the Trump virus adverse reactions and anomalies information. Kira said she knew it was based on the wildcard virus, had no effect on normal people, but it might put her back to normal or have no effect at all. Mike interjected, or it could kill you. She stated it was only a third of those who take it that die. But you took it? Delicately, Mike let her know how scary a decision it was to make, knowing the risks, all the thoughts racing through her mind. He had been in this very same position and knew exactly how it felt. Mike told her he knew it must feel weird having barely just met him. He was here to help her through this, to believe in that fact. He wanted to know what she was thinking, stammering, it's just, as she began searching for the right way to express her feelings. Kira began, letting him know that she just wasn't sure. Half the time, she thought all she wanted was to go back to how she used to be. The other half was afraid, even if she was totally ugly and messed up now, at least she wasn't dead. And gently, Mike urged her to continue. It was okay. She could tell him anything. What if she took it and it didn't work? She would just be one of those who stayed the same. If she didn't take it, though, it was like there was still a possible hope, but taking it and it not working meant she wouldn't even have that. Kira knew it sounded stupid. Outside in the lobby, the sleeper-croyed Crenson shiftily looks around while making a beeline to the urgent care room. Mike told her it wasn't, but if she turned it down, it would be the same as choosing this. Having a chance to be normal again and not taking it was essentially the equivalent of not even having a chance. You think I should then? Kira asked, and Mike told her he thought everyone should. He told her it was a simple choice for him. His life was already over. He didn't want to go on living that way. Trump had saved him, and he knew it could save her too. What about the third that it kills, though? Kira stated. With a deadpan face, Mike said, you could argue that it saves them too. The scene shifts to Alex outside on the clinic's roof, standing in the rain, a depressed look on his face, staring at the street below as red lightning crackles from his body. The discussion continues inside Kira's room. You mean suicide? You're talking about killing yourself? Mike retorted, reminding her of the dark place he had been. He didn't know if it would have been a wrong decision. It wasn't popular or one professional counselors would approve, but it was authentic. Could you blame him? She didn't think so, but it was just like saying all jokers should die. He asked if she was afraid that if she took the virus and it didn't work, her last hope would be crushed. What he was pointing out, he explained, was that the worst would be to die. He queried if she knew the suicide rate for new jokers. She confidently replied it was 50% in the first year. Half of us, he said. Strangest of all is that most of them don't even try Trump. Clarifying, he explained it's about not being controlled by the fear, shame, and the guilt. She understood. Fear bad. What if the virus was stabilized in a few years, though? There was still a lot of unknowns. After entering through the urgent care door, Croyd made his way through the clinic. Hearing voices, he stopped before rounding a corner to take a look. He saw Troll and a few guards joking while leaving the security administration room. Once the hall cleared, Croyd moved quickly over to the security administration door, then shifted his hands into the crab claw appendages. Meanwhile, Kira asked Mike if he knew Trump worked better on those who were lactose intolerant. They don't know why, it just does, or how some batches behave differently even using the same nucleotide sequencing. They find clues all the time, Kira continued. There were all kinds of weird things, any one of which could improve how well the virus works. There was even one time she started then trailed off as Mike listened intently. Over at the security administration door, Croyd had broken in and was now in the office looking for the information he came to retrieve. Mike prompted her asking, "One time what?" Kira started again saying that. One time it actually turned a Joker into an ace, at which point she asked him what his last name was again. Croyd went straight for the file cabinet across the room and started looking through the files within. Bingo! He found it, the incident report on Nurse Winters. He started scanning the material looking for any clues. Coming down the hallway, Security Chief Troll saw the door open, the handle mangled. He wonders what the heck is going on here. Turning the corner, he spots Croyd, startling him as he scans over the report on Nurse Winters. Bam! Croyd narrowly missed being hit from a quick punch by Troll. He dashed out of the room. Troll growled, grabbed the door, and framed launching himself after Croyd. Chased into the lobby, Croyd shouted at him, imploring Troll to stop, that it wasn't what he thought it was. In the lobby, frightened visitors moved back in concern, watching the commotion taking place. Troll smashed a pillar, charging after Croyd. With another lunge, he slammed Croyd into the wall. Troll was enraged. "You think I'm some kind of chump," he said, infuriated that Nurse Winters' murderer would come into the clinic out in the open like this. "I'll rip your head off," Troll yelled. Croyd couldn't breathe. Troll's forearm pressed hard against his throat. Troll didn't care that Croyd had been a constant in Jokertown since the first outbreak in '46. If he thought he could kill one of his staff, then Troll would just take him out right here. Thinking quick, Croyd changed his foot using his claw to take a snap at Troll's foot. "It was enough," Troll cried out and jerked back in pain, allowing Croyd to slip free. Troll, now hurt, whined in pain, yelling that Croyd was a dead man. Croyd knew he needed to split before the cops arrived. He tried once more, telling Troll he didn't do it and was there trying to figure out who did it. He couldn't hang out and have a nice leisurely conversation with Troll. Croyd implored him, "When the cops get here, you tell them what happened wasn't his fault." The rain continued falling as the cops pulled up in front of the lobby entrance. From up on the roof, Alex thought to himself that the world looked small from up there. Distant, peaceful, almost pretty. Alex had no idea why the police were there. For a while he thought it was for him, but nobody came looking. He was glad for that. It had been easy getting out of the room and onto the roof. He was going to die and all he felt was relieved. That's where he met Croyd, the day he had saved Alex's life. "Hey kid," Alex heard just then from somewhere just below him. Alex looked down and there he was, just climbing on up from below, crab claws ripping into the side of the building. "Pull me up, would ya?" Croyd asked, saying he could really use a hand. At that time, Alex thought if he had told him to be careful, he wouldn't have. If he'd told him not to jump, he would have. Instead, Croyd had asked him for help. He didn't know who he was, didn't even know his name. Sure as shit he knew what would get me back off that ledge. Croyd grunted as Alex helped pull him over the edge, then asked him if he was all right. Sarcastically, Croyd responded that he couldn't be better. "What do you think, huh?" He deftly caught himself and apologized, saying it had been a rough week. "Yeah," Alex intoned, "me too." "Yeah, you don't say," Croyd questioned, adding, "Is that why you were about to make yourself a street pizza? Must have been a hell of a time." Croyd said he saw the outbreak in Colorado on the news and asked if that was him. Alex turned away, a dull, defeated look in his eyes. The rain pelted down all around them, a cacophony of noise barely heard in the moment, and then it all spilled out. Alex told him everything about Kira and Jack, the funeral he wasn't welcomed at, all the deaths at his school, and waking up as an ace. He told him all kinds of things that came spilling out, like how he should have saved Jack, how he wasn't even supposed to be there, how Simon should have died in his place, that he should have died. Alex continued telling Croyd how he hated his parents for leaving, but was also glad they were gone. He understood now that Croyd was just waiting for the police to leave. It didn't take away from it though. Perhaps it should have, but it didn't. If he had still believed in God, he would have said God had sent him, but since he didn't, Alex was just glad he was there. That stupid transition counselor was no help. All he did was use active listening crap. It was useless, all of it. Croyd understood everything. Alex could tell by the way he sat there, the look in his eyes. Croyd knew before he even said it. He didn't know how, and then he told him how he had been there himself, at the very start of it all. The start? Alex queried. Yeah, Croyd said wildcard day, back on September 15th, 1946. Croyd explained that he was much older than he appeared to be. With a pensive look on Croyd's face, he recounted how he had been a kid back then. Nobody knew what the wildcard virus was. Back when there were no Jokers, when an ace was a jet fighter pilot. Hell, they hadn't even known aliens even existed. He had lived not too far from here. That day, he had been walking home from school. A blimp had been way up in the sky over the city. That had been all the warning they had got. He had been going home like always when everyone started dying around him. One kid he knew just melted away before his eyes. A girl who lived down the street blistered up, eyes and fingernails going black. She had screamed non-stop as her mother tried calming her, but could do nothing to help her. It had been like that on every street corner, and we thought the end of the world had come. Even drawing an ace, nothing was ever the same after that day. There was no going back after something like that. You couldn't just go back to being the way you were. It changes you, and I don't just mean the virus. He couldn't stop thinking of all those who died, thinking why them and not him. Exactly, Alex interjected. That's exactly it. Croyd told him, though, that he never did find an answer. But if there is an answer... Croyd trailed off before continuing. Jumping off a building isn't going to figure into finding one. Alex began to stammer, I didn't, to which Croyd had said, don't sweat it, kid. He understood. You can't lose the things we have and not spend some serious time soul-searching about it. Croyd peered down over the ledge, promptly stating that it appeared the cops had moved on to protect and serve somewhere else. It was about time to dash. He looked back at Alex and asked him for a favor. At that moment, Croyd could have asked me for anything and he would have done it. He had been drowning a moment ago and Croyd had thrown him a rope. Shifting back inside the clinic, a nurse is seen pulling Security Chief Troll down the hall while another emerges from Kira's room, calling out to come quick. On the roof, Croyd lamented that he had a rough time with shoes these days and had a lot of walking to do, asking if he could bum the shoes from Alex. He told him it was no problem handing them over before asking if there was a reason for it all. He knew they would never fully know, but do you think they could? A big capital R reason. Nah, he had never found any evidence for it. He got by on his own reasons nowadays. Right now, he had his own little R reason as he was searching for the person who had killed his friend. The little reasons were enough to keep him going. Alex asked if he was a detective then. Croyd told him he was pretty much whatever the situation needed him to be, same as it was for anyone else. Right now, though, he needed to split. Back in Kira's room, both nurses and Troll look in shock. It appears a scuffle took place as blood spatters and damage are seen on the bed and floor. Kira is nowhere to be found. Before Croyd bolts, he gives Alex a few last parting words, apologizing for his little brother's loss. He reminds Alex that he is gone though, and taking his own life isn't going to bring him back. Same goes for drawing an ace. Being sorry won't help him, and between them, Croyd laments that it probably won't help much either, as it never had for him. As long as he was still breathing though, there was a chance he could help someone else, and just maybe that's enough to keep on going. Next, in Wild Cards, the hard call number 3. Croyd Crenson continues his search for Nurse Winter's murderer. His only lead, whoever did this has stolen vials of Trump virus. And what happened to Kira? Has she been murdered? Or is something more sinister and unimaginable happening in the Jokertown clinic? Brand new aces, Alex and Simon might be the only ones willing to find out. Find out in the next installment, and thanks for watching.